Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another podcast. This is the Art of Tranquillity Podcast. I'm your host, Matthew, and in this podcast, we talk about all things to do with art and much more. And we're going to be doing the much more category to this podcast, as I've just came back from holiday. If you didn't see my previous podcast, I might link it up here, might forget, it'll be somewhere. I'll try and post it in the description as well, just in case you haven't seen it. But it was me explaining what I was going to be doing on my holiday, but now and it is actually a Monday, so this doesn't go up pretty much straight after because it's 3 p.m. and this is meant to be up at I usually do it around 5:30. I feel like that's not too early and not too late. It's like a perfect time before your meals. You can watch it while eating. That's kind of what I mean. Is that what podcasts are for? What do people usually do podcasts for? Because I guess a lot of people would do a podcast for a lot of different things, but or maybe just going about your day, going on a walk for a podcast. I don't really do that personally. I do listen to podcasts. I listened to a podcast not that long ago. I enjoyed that podcast. I watched that while eating actually, yeah. I did watch that while eating. I usually eat while watching podcasts. What do you do during podcasts? Also, if you can hear people cutting grass, it's the summer. Do apologize. There's just going to be a lot of people cutting grass outside. Don't know if you can hear it because I hopefully this mic isn't picking up background noise because I do have a noise gate on this camera. Mic, not camera. The mic. This thing. The microphone. I've been doing that. Also, not being on camera in a while, or at least it feels like a while. Like technically it's only been a week, but when you're on holiday, it flies by. I mean, technically, when my podcast came out, that was the last week's podcast. I was on holiday there, but I just recorded it a lot earlier than what it was meant to be, just so that it can all. Okay, that is very loud. I might need to close my window during the podcast, but I also don't want do that because I need a lot of air right now. I need fresh air. I need my windows open. My door's slightly open as well. There's a whole lot, but that's very loud. And I apologize. It's annoying me probably more than you, because I hope it doesn't pick up. I have just been talking about this for like a good 3 minutes now, so I probably should stop talking about someone cutting the grass. But hello, welcome back, Art of Tranquillity Podcast. I hope you do enjoy this podcast. As you can see, I actually don't have someone with me. A lot of reasons. One, came back from holiday, so I don't actually have a lot of time to find someone to do the podcast with, because a lot of people are working during the week, and this is a Monday. In short notice, I couldn't really just pop someone in for a podcast because everyone would have plans by now, especially a couple hours before posted as well. It's a lot of planning. So next week there will be someone instead. I know technically next week would have just been just me, but I wouldn't know what to speak about in that podcast because this podcast is going to be about my holiday. So at least I've got a lot of stuff to talk about. So don't worry, this isn't just a waste of a podcast. There's a lot that I need to talk about, and I'm really excited to start getting onto things as well. I have wrote down my notes here as usual because that's what you need in a podcast. I can't just remember the top of my brain because I probably will forget a lot of crucial memories. Not the podcast. The holiday was a roller coaster of great emotions, great emotions, but a lot of happened. There was a lot that happened. There's a lot of memories. I will get into, I think most of them, unless I have forgot or just maybe we've run out of time. Not entirely too sure. But yes, I think this is episode 8 now of podcasts. They should be coming out every single week now, by the way. I have finally, I think, found my rhythm. It's summer, so I feel like I'm more active. Just during Christmas time, it just doesn't do well for me. It really doesn't. Like, I generally can't do stuff, and I don't know why. I just feel so unmotivated. But now that it's summer, all I can do is want to work, and I'm really excited. I want to go back to this is actually I'll show you quickly. I mean, it's not really going to show you much. It's just a sketchbook. But this is my sketchbook where I have all my portraits in. I do want to do more of them, and I'm excited to continue portraits again as well. Because I do want to do that. I do want to do that, and I'm excited to do more portraits as well. So that 100% will be continued. I only do it during summer though. That's just because I've got a lot more free time during summer, and I feel more art inspired during summertime to do work. So that's probably when I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing that. I don't usually do that after August. I feel like during the August time is when it starts to dwindle, and then I kind of stop that because I start to get into a different routine of going back on like the uni campus and stuff like that, and as well as just many other things that take prioritize compared to just doing a little portrait. But I do like portrait. I have did classes for portraits, and I love those. That would actually definitely help, because actually I've not did a portrait since those portrait classes. At least I can't remember. Maybe I did, or maybe it was during that. Maybe I did it. I can. That was during summer. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself again. But I didn't do one. I didn't do portraits last year because last summer was completely chaotic. This one feels more controlled, and I know what I want to do. Excited to get on with summer. I should start my summer now because I'm finally done with everything to do with uni at the moment, and I'm excited to get going and doing things. Anyway, welcome back. That was just a long intro that I had to make sure to say everything before I started forgetting, because my notes are very shortened, and once I'm going to talk about something, I'm going to really talk about something, because I want to make sure that says May up there. I've just realized that my calendar says May because I have only just recently got back. We got back, went to bed, and now it's the next day, and I've been helping a lot around the house, doing a lot of chores, because nobody really does something and does stuff, and when I'm back, that's when, yeah, I've got a lot to speak about, don't worry. But yes, I'm gonna just what I wrote here, and then we'll start to get into the podcast. Talk about. Yes, I did that. I did say that right. Did I go into it into detail? Not entirely sure, but the reason is just me, because it was a holiday, and I just got back, and I had no time to really prepare to find someone. But don't worry, next week we will have someone, and then the following week it should just be me, and then back to someone again, and then so forth. It should carry out like that. We can hope. Not entirely sure how that would go. I'm excited. A lot to do. There's so much to do. I really just need to get on top of it. If I can start scheduling stuff well in advance, I'll be a happy bunny, but I just need to get that all done, don't I? I really need to get that all done. Also, speaking of bunnies, you did really enjoy the podcast with Xavier, well, slash Luke, and I'm really glad that you did enjoy that, and I am excited to do another podcast with someone else to see if you enjoy podcast. I mean, I'm sure you would enjoy podcast with someone else more than me. Don't know what that says about myself. Maybe I'm just not as entertaining as interviewing other people. I don't know. Or maybe you just like it when it's... I'm not entirely sure, but usually, I guess collabs do a lot better than just single person, because more people would be able to see me and someone else. So it was like two people, one person, if that makes sense. But yes, I think I'll start with my holiday. I feel like that would make most sense. Start with my holiday, where I went, and that was Wales. I did say that, pretty sure. And I do know that it was technically around the borderlines, but we were actually in Wales. I thought it was just the border that will be like around, so like obviously we might still be in like England slash Wales. But no, we were actually quite a bit into actually Wales. We weren't just on the border of Wales and England. We actually were just in Wales. Didn't know that, but we were. I guess it was close to the border. But we were in Wales. Just to clarify, just in case. Yes, went to a lot of walks, a lot of, I guess that we did do a mountain climb. Okay, I need to stay ahead of myself. The first day, I'm just actually scrolling through just so that I can get a little insight of what we did. The first day, we got there, everything was good. Was everything good? I mean, there's a lot of train journeys that I will speak about, but I'll speak about that towards the after I've spoke about the holiday, I think. Also, I haven't really planned about what I'm going to speak about this holiday. I have just kind of talk about the holiday. So it's probably going to be a lot of chaotic, especially because I've just came back from holiday. I feel like I need to get into the rhythm of stuff again. So I do apologize if I'm just rambling on, and I'm going to hopefully tell some great stories. But the first one, we really wanted to find a waterfall. That was like our main goal at the start of the holiday. So when we got there, we unpacked, and then we wanted to go for a little walk, a little evening walk. I don't know, can't remember the time, round about the time, but I did know we started walking back around 7 p.m. and we were walking for a good about 3 hours. Yeah, 6, 5, 4. Maybe around 4, maybe. I don't know entirely, but we got there decently early. So yeah, it might have been around 4 p.m. actually. Maybe closer to 5 actually. I'm not entirely sure. But we got there. Then we were near a walk. I won't say location case, but we were near a walk and we wanted to go down that walk. And there was a lot of different paths you could take. And then we saw a map that was showing where a waterfall is, and it looked like there was 3 different points of a waterfall. So you can go either way and you'll still find a waterfall. But we were looking for a specific one we found in a photo, and we went the opposite way. Did not go the correct way the first time. And we went that way, walked a good hour. It was really nice though, even though the worst part actually was there was these tiny, tiny, tiny little flies, and anytime you'd walk, you would just kind of feel it brushing against like your skin. Cause also I was wearing shorts because it was warm. You could just feel them all touching your leg, and it was really uncomfortable. And I was constantly just trying to like brush them off, but if, obviously if you brush them off a lot, there's like thousands of them, and they're always like, and it's not a great feeling. It's just it really is not. But yeah, walked across there. Really nice photos as well. We took. It was very tranquil. A lot of great. It reminds me of just like a park with a lot of trees. That's if that's what you try and picture. A park with a lot of trees. No, it's a woods. Is it a woods? I couldn't tell you. Yes, I could. I just. But we did actually. When we were walking, we looked at the stream of water, and the water was flowing. 1 second. It was flowing this ways. So if the water was flowing from here, we were like, well, we have to go that way because that's where the waterfall will be. Because after the waterfall would pour, and then it would go that way. That wasn't actually the case because actually the waterfall, when we later found it, streaming from like here, and then it falls and it continues. So actually, we would have been at the top of the waterfall when you arrive at the waterfall, but we thought we would be at the bottom of the waterfall, looking up at the waterfall, if that makes sense. But we got there wasn't a waterfall. Then we still had time, so we decided to actually start walking the other way. And by this point, we were pretty much dead with our feet. Torturing at this point. We walked there, we kept walking, and as the more we walked, the more the water started to dwindle, and it was starting to go like it was starting to thin out, and it was just kind of getting very rocky, and it looked like it would end. It was like this isn't really getting anywhere, and it's about to get dark, and we still have to walk back, and we don't want to be walking in the dark because that would just change the atmosphere completely, and we would be panicking, and that's just not what you want to do. So we walked back, didn't go back. We didn't go back until like 3 days after, by the way. And then we found a different route because the owners were telling us that they like walking there. And they said it was very easy to find the waterfall, which I beg to differ. It's not easy to find the waterfall, I'm sorry. We finally got there, but we went around a different way. Not the way they actually told us, now looking back. Definitely not the way they told us. But we walked that way. I started hearing a waterfall and I was like, it's definitely this way. We'll just go. It was that way, by the way. It starts thinning out. It does thin out, and then that's when the waterfall hits. So we were only less than a minute away from the waterfall. I'm surprised we didn't actually hear the waterfall, but we were less than a minute away from the waterfall when we decided to walk back that night, which that's really, really disappointing, but that is what we did. Maybe it worked out for the better, because I guess we wouldn't have waterfall for that long if we did go that day, because we would have just had to go back anyway, just in case it got too dark. But we walked back, but now this is the next day, not the next day, next 3 days after. This was the day before we left, I think. That's the day we went. Um, and then we walked through this farm, because this farm had an agreement with the park that's saying that the public's allowed to walk through their farm. That does mean that there's livestock and that there was sheep there that we'd have to walk with, and that was very scary. I will say that was very scary, but the more you walked to the sheep, they ran away from you as a big horde. Kind of nice, because I was scared and he's going to charge at me. I've had a lot of experience with things charging at me. Animals love to charge at me and scare me, and then I'll get very scared as well. But no, these ones just ran away as a pack. Found that path, continued on that path, and then eventually we found the waterfall, and it was the best moment ever. I ran over it. I screamed. I was like, "The waterfall's here!" And then I looked down at the waterfall, and there was people at the bottom of the waterfall, and I was just screaming like a little child, very excited. The waterfall, not realizing that people was there. That yeah, that there was people there. We got there, very nice. Very nice waterfall. And then once we had fun with the waterfall, took nice photos, we decided to carry on the water because it didn't just end. Obviously, that's the waterfall. We're at the top of the waterfall. It splashes down. It's going to continue. We continued for another, like, around maybe like 5-10 minutes. And then we come across another waterfall. And this one looked very more intricate because it waved down. So, like, the waterfall was here. And then it kind of goes like that all the way down. And it looked really, really cool. And I'm glad that we did continue for that extra time because we were able to see the waterfall in a different light, and it was very, very nice, and very happy with the waterfall. And we took a lot more photos, and then it kind of led onto the streets. It was like we could continue because the water obviously still continues past the streets, but by that point I was like, we need to get back, so we got back. But that was the waterfall journey, and I could probably talk about it forever because I know there's a lot that I am missing out because I am just kind of rambling, trying to say stuff that I remember. But that was most that I can probably remember at the top of my head about the waterfall. But really enjoyed it, and I'm glad that we did that. The next day, so this will be the morning of the first day. So we got there, and also with the waterfall, by the way, we found that days later. I did say that, but I'm just reminding you that now I'm kind of going back again. A lot back and forth. Apologies. But the next day, we went to, I can't remember exactly what it's called, somewhere in Wales. It was a nice little village. It kind of reminds me of what Germany kind of looks like as well. It was a nice little town, and then there was a mountain that you can climb. And I was like, yes, I'm doing that because I love hiking, and I've never did that for a long time. I think the last proper one I went on was Ben Nevis, and I have talked about this here, I think, but I wanted to do another thing like Ben Nevis. This one definitely wasn't up to par with Ben Nevis, but it was amazing. It definitely was up to par with Ben Nevis, but this one was a lot shorter. So it's like a short version of Ben Nevis. I really, really enjoyed it, and I'm so glad, and I really want to do more hikes just like this one as well. But we got, see, the first part, it was so steep that I actually got winded and I was wheezing from the very start. It was like 5 minutes in, probably even less than that. It was just a big steep. It was like very, very steep. Got up there, was wheezing. We took a break. The main reason we took a break as well, though, was because everyone wanted to put on sunscreen because that's when everyone realized it was actually really, 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 really warm that day as well. So we all put on sun cream. Not sunscreen. I keep saying sunscreen. It's sun cream, right? It's definitely cream, not a screen. Sun cream. We put on that, and I was still wheezing, but then as soon as we started walking again, the wheezing started to stop, and it never came back. So that steep hill really just winded me, and I'm glad we got past that part because the rest of it was quite nice. I had an orange while I was walking. There was actually sheep here as well that could just go up to you as well. These ones were still scared of you, I guess, as well, but we got even closer with these ones, I feel like, which was really exciting. I know that Luke was filmed a really good shot of like sheep coming down, and then it stopped, looked at Luke, looked back, and then continued on. That it was like a very Disney moment for him. I was also there, but they filmed it. But I agree, it was a really nice moment. Um, we're going. It's a castle at the top, by the way. Didn't say that. There's a castle at the top, and all I can picture is peasants having to go up and down multiple times a day just to either bring up water or food for like the royals or like the royalty at the top. You know, people that was higher up than the peasants. And I was like, these poor peasants have to do this every single day. And like, here's me walking up a little bit, taking a stop, drinking some water. They didn't get that. They're like, peasants are like strong and overpowered. They could overpower the people if they didn't just have armor. And what I actually thought about as well is people with armor trying to take the castle if they ever did. They would have to be walking up in this like suit of armor, and they'll be like, I'm like, how can you do that? That will you be sweating, you'll be like dying on the floor, just be like, I'm just like, how can people do that? I could do it, but like, I couldn't do that multiple times a day, and for the next day to also do that multiple times a day, just non-stop. That's just what my life is. Couldn't do that. I really couldn't. But yes, a lot of great photos there as well. Also, what I actually did realize is you can find, this might not be a surprise to anyone else, but it was a surprise to me, is that you can come across wild snakes there. Never came across one. thankfully. But I don't want to ever come across a wild snake. I think I will be actually okay with a snake if I knew that people been around that snake and it's like a friendly snake. But wild snakes do scare me because you just never know what that snake can hold. It's the same for like, I was about to say a wolf if I came across a wild wolf or a wild bear, but I guess it gets kind of like that. Like, I don't want to be near a wild wolf or bear either. It's the same as a snake because you just never know if they're going to be friendly or not. But I guess a wolf or a bear could never be friendly. I mean, they could. You never know. Don't shame wolves or bears. They might actually just want a hug. You never know. You never know. But yes, scary. Got up to the top though, and there was a sheep. Oh gosh, there was. I got charged at by another animal, believe it or not. There was a sheep at the top. So we were at the top, but there was this little slope to get down from the wind. So we went there, starting to like have some food. It's like a little picnic and drink our water. There was a sheep that kept making noise, and then we kept looking up, and it got closer at the mountain. And then it decides to charge all the way down. So like we're here, charging down at us, and I got up and I was like, help! And then I like jumped away, and then it actually just ran down, went around us, and then continued. The reason it was like bang is because it wanted to go past us, and it was telling us to move so that it can like run down and get past. But we didn't, and then it eventually just had to run down, and it did. And then it ran past us, but it was scary because it was literally charging straight towards us, and then it decided to turn last second. And I thought I was a goner, because like if that hit me, I would have went tumbling down that mountain and probably never to be seen again, just probably lying there. And it's like, I'm just gonna live here now. Don't want to do anything else. This is me. The spot's mine. I'm staying here. I don't want to ever be attacked by another animal again. It just seems to happen. Like, why? Does that happen to everyone else? Probably not. Probably not. But yeah, that was a great day. Got down there. Goals to make sure that I'm talking in order because I don't want to accidentally not talk about order. But actually, I can show. Went to a shop and I got myself. Oh, you probably won't be able to see that. Can it focus? Will it focus? Wait, do I do the hand thing? Does people do like a hand thing? That's what people do, right? You cannot see that. You can't. Oh my gosh, it does. But my name's the wrong way around. I do apologize, but my name is Matthew, and it does say Matthew. And guess what? It's red. My favorite color. Everyone had different colors, and my one was red. I got a red like gonk, and I love gonks, as you can probably see back there. There's just a that was a Valentine's one. That's an don't know if there's any others. There's mushroom gonks that Amy got me as well. There's a gonk up there, which was not this Easter, but the previous Easter. Well, or maybe it was. I don't remember. But yes, I like gonks, and I would gonk collection. And this one's like a little bell. Got like a. I don't know what we would put in it. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe you could just hang them like a decoration. But it was red, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's fine. Matthews is red because everyone had different colors. There was all sorts of different names with a different color associated with that name. And my one was red, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's literally me. I need it because that could have been any other color. All of the Matthews were red, by the way. It's not like some Matthews were different colors. That name, all of them were the exact same, if that makes sense. So like, you couldn't really decide. But yes, and then also got this mug of the place, so I guess you can kind of see what the place would look like. That was a little stream of water. I mean, it's got the name of it. I guess I can actually read it. It's called Llangollen. I probably pronounced that wrong. Llangollen. But there's my little mug. Kind of see it there. I know it'll be backwards again. But it's a really, really nice place, and I recommend if you're in Wales. Llangollen. I guess that's probably one of them. I mean, it's up north, but I don't know any other place south of Wales because north of Wales that we were. But really like that. And then on the same day, went to another place that was, I guess, closer to where we were. And still in Llangollen, actually, I think. But it was an aqueduct. If you don't know what an aqueduct is, it's kind of like a bridge, but with a stream of water that goes across it. So there's like a small little bridge with a stream of water that goes across it. I think I can show you a photo of what it kind of looks like. I'll do. Um, I don't know if you. Oh, I'm charging my phone. 1 second. Do apologize. This is a podcast. I hope you're enjoying. That's kind of what it looks like. Nope, you can't see that at all, can you? Just focus once, please. You can kind of see it. That's what it is. It's an aqueduct. Very scary because you could easily just fall into the water and plop down. Don't worry, you won't plop down the entire bridge though, because it's like the water needs to be contained. It doesn't like stream down the bridge, if that makes sense. It's just that little small like part. There's fish that swim in it though. We did see fish swimming in it. A lot of people didn't actually go on the aqueduct. They were too scared to walk in the aqueduct, but I did it. I walked on it. Actually, quite scary. The only part that really scared me was the wind as well, because if you were holding your phone and you want to photo, you'd be like holding it on so tight that you feel like you're going to crush your phone because you're holding it that tightly because you don't want to let it go, and then it's the wind and you're just like, I'm going to keep it close to me, and I'm taking photos like this because I'm too scared that my phone's just going to like yeet on by and then it'll be gone. So I was holding onto my phone for dear life, trying to take nice photos, and I was just like, look, photo, and I was like shaking my phone, like trying to get a good photo, and just like it was a whole thing. It was a very long walk as well. You would walk for like a good chunk amount of time as well. Like it wasn't just a short bridge; it was a very long bridge, as you could probably see by the photo. Although that was only halfway through the bridge. But yes, a long, long, long walk across the bridge, but we made it and we're all good. And then we walked all the way back as well. So once we got there, we walked all the way back. But there was an under passage that you can walk also. So we went under the bridge and be able to see it, like the structures as well. And there was a nice little path as well with a stream of water going below it. And they said this was the wrong place actually. I'll speak about that other place. I've just something. I was going to say that there was seals that you can find in that water, but that's a different water, not the water that we got to. But this was a nice one. It did end with like a weird beat kind of thing, not a correct beat, but just like a little one, a small one, not like a correct one. It didn't make sense because it was almost like a pond sand, but technically a beach. But yeah, then once we got there, we walked back up. It kind of went in a circuit, so you can look right back around with your path. And I think that was that day. But yeah, the next day, because we didn't find that waterfall yet that I spoke about, wanted to find a waterfall. So we went to a place that we could find a waterfall, and we found it. We had to pay. Well, yeah, you did have to pay. We had to pay 50p each person waterfall. And everyone was taking photos. So you trying to get a photo with this waterfall was really difficult because if you want to take a photo with this waterfall, there's going to be people just walking by past you as you're just going, and then people are like taking photos. But yes, it was a nice waterfall. Really enjoyed it. There was a staircase to go up, and we went up that to hopefully see if you can see the top of the waterfall, and we did that. We got to the top. No, actually, when we got to the top, it took you into this very wooded area. It wasn't actually the waterfall anymore, and it was multiple different paths. We took one, continued on it, and then there was these stepping stones to get across this water. Very wobbly, these stepping stones. But I wanted to do some parkour because I love exploring in nature, so I did that. And then at the other side, there was a cave. You can go in the cave, and I've never been in a cave. I've never been in a cave, and this is the first cave I've been in, like a proper one, a one that's not got, like, I guess, I don't know what to say, public, not public, but like not been tampered with. It's just a cave, if that makes sense. So there could have been like a wild bear in there for all I know. But we went in there, and there was multiple different. You had to climb up to get to a different part of the cave. We didn't do that. Well, some people did, but I didn't. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna stand here because I was too scared of spiders, and I knew there was gonna be like big spiders in there, especially because it's pitch black. Used my phone like light, like the torch you can get on your phone. Did not help a little bit. I still couldn't see with my torch, and I was like, great. So I was like at the entrance, and I was like, just take a photo of me here, and then I got a photo like me without actually going that far deep into the cave. I would love to do it with a proper torch. Like I wouldn't mind going back with like a proper torch, actually exploring the cave that way. But there was no way that I could go anywhere without knowing if there was going to be a ginormous spider just to drop onto my back. But that does give me the heebie-jeebies. Or if there was going to be a bear, because a bear could easily fit in there and could easily hibernate in there if it wanted to. And I was like, no, thank you. So I'm not doing that. Imagine hearing it echoing that as well. Why am I doing this to myself? But it was actually really nice to actually just be a cave. And yeah, then we went when we was actually across the water as well. There was a part you could just walk in to see the cows like in person, and they were like not wild cows, but like I was like, I'm not wanting to do that because I don't know what these cows are capable of. Then I was like, no one, you know what? I do want photos with the cows. So then as soon as I walked in, it was like a little gate. So you open the gate, walk past, and then you forward, if that makes sense. Went through it, and then a cow like not sneezed at me, but kind of went like a and like it blowed out of its like almost like acting like a bull, but it was a cow. And then I was like, nope, not doing that. That's going to charge at me, and I don't want another thing with an animal that wants to charge at me. I'm going back out, and I did go back out, and then I took a photo with a cow behind the gate, like so the other side, not with the gate. I was like almost wanting to get, but that cow would have charged at me, and that would have been another livestock animal. They just want to tell me charge over. And I'm not doing that. Why do they just not like me? I just want to be liked by animals, please. That's all I want. But no, it would have charged at me. Not to. And then we went back. At least we got to see a waterfall. And then we went to a beach. And like a proper one. Not like the other one. And this one was a lot more nice. And we went to collect shells. The spiral shells, because they just look best, honestly. I mean, if you collect shells, what kind of shells do you like? I think the spiral one best, or like a different color that looks different from the other ones, or a nice like marbled one. They're not. There was a lot of crabs that were dead though, like that was actually really sad to see. Also some jellyfish as well. A lot of just things with mixed in with the rocks. And I was like, those poor little guys. Sometimes you would see an alive one. That's nice, but most of them there was just a lot of dead ones. But I guess you never know how they're for, because maybe they just. I'm not. But yeah, we did see a lot of good spiral ones. I did actually get not like badly hurt, but like when you're like self up on a rock that's like got a lot of corals on it and they're very jaggy, you get really badly cuts with them just by like touching slightly. Just like it was really difficult, and they were so slippery, and I was scared in case I fall, so I would use my hands, and that wasn't the best because I would hurt my hands from doing that, and I was like, great, but oh well, got through it. My hands were okay now from the actual place. I'm just scrolling photos. I've not forgot anything on the beach, but I think that was about it, to be honest. Went shell hunting, got some food at the beach as well, but I don't think it's matter. But the beach was nice, and we did go shell hunting quite a bit. Also, there was a pile of like long shells. I don't know how to. Yeah, it's like sticks that are shells. It was so tempting, and there was a bunch that was actually cracked already. That someone's already stood on all of them, so I was like, I need to do it, and it was satisfying. I didn't do it to ones that weren't. Don't worry, there was no animals in there. It wasn't just, but it was so satisfying. Like when you see satisfying videos like stuff, that's satisfying. If you see a pile of shells that there's nothing in them, or they've already been cracked, stand over them. It's crunch because like thousands of them. Bubble wrap, but better. It's like the supreme bubble wrap. For the next, I think it's the next day now as well. We decided to go to another castle. But when we got there, when we got to the castle, guess what? It was closed, even though on the sign it says they technically would open at this point, because it closes at 5:30, and it's open on this specific day as well. but it was closed, and I was confused, and I was like, why is it closed? So we didn't get to go into the main part of the castle, but we could go around it. We could go around it, and there was this little metal gate. I was like, you gates are on the end to like keep livestock. So I was like, why is the gate here? I'm a bit confused by this. Sorry, my camera's a little bit because I changed position. Get more comfy while speaking. I'm the host. Do I get to that if I want to? Sorry, you're probably gonna see like look Pokemon cards there. I'm just gonna make sure focused on me as I'm. That looks a lot better. It looks more professionally when I'm lying down now. I like that. But yes, there was a metal gate. I was like, usually this is just to keep livestock in. Why is it here? Didn't think much of it. And then there was a lot of, call it, feces. That's a good word. There was a lot of feces on the ground of what it looked like to be cows, or at least a big animal. And I was just like, why is this here? Like, it's either cows or sheep. And I'm like, but there was none to be seen. And I was like, great, don't know why this is here, and it's kind of scaring me because I do not want to be up close with a cow ever again from the previous experience. And we went through this like part just to see if we can get a better look at the castle. The castle was what we wanted, but we weren't allowed in it, so we were trying to get a different view of the castle. We went around, and then there was this sandy part, this like deep like hill that you can go to see like the stream of water. It's kind of almost like a moat around the castle. It wasn't like a correct moat. I guess it went along just not just the castle, but like an entire part. It was kind of like a moat in a way. It was like we saw cows down there, so there was cows, and I knew it. I knew that there was going to be livestock because we went through one of those metal gates, and then when we went through it, went down. Yeah, no, I didn't go down. There was other people that went down. I was like, I'm not going down there with those cows. I can't trust myself with those cows. I went a long way around, and also I accidentally. Oh wait, yeah, no, we went around, had wee falls because see the way that obviously cows like their hooves, they would be a lot of little potholes. So anytime you're walking, it looks like you're cracking your ankles every step you take, and you're like twisting your ankle. So every step I took, I was like constantly like looks like I was falling and twisting my ankle. Went across there and then went up to like a little like an archway, and that was taking us back to where the cows were. So it's like almost like we did a big loop around, and then that's where the castle, not the castle, that's where the house would be. And I'm like, go this way. This is scaring me. I don't know if I want to go down this way. But we did it. We went down that way, and behold, that the cows actually were still there. And I was like, great, not doing that, not doing that. So we went. We thought that we could. Still, we were very determined to see this castle from this different angle. That didn't need to. We didn't need. It would really worth it. It really wouldn't, especially if we were going to get charged by a cow. Wouldn't be worth it. But I was like, you know what we can do? We can maybe go up the house slightly, but still walk along it, so we're not up the top of it. Because it was kind of like a little makeshift path. So, yeah, it'll be very slippery, by the way, because obviously my shoes, anytime I've got shoes, they don't work really well. Like, anytime I'm going anything to do with ice as well, even just sand, anything that's slippery, my shoes just can't comprehend that I need to get up here, and anytime I take a step, I'm constantly just sliding. Even to go up a hill, it really stresses me out. I'm like, everyone else can just do it so simply, and then there's me struggling because my shoes let me go up. Doesn't matter what shoes I've got on. If I've got trainers, if I've got the best shoes to help me get up sand, it still would not work. I'm still going to be slipping, and I don't know why. I'm just not that great with going up hills, but we finally got up to like a little path, and then that's when we started to see the cows. The cows started moving the other side, so like where we originally were, and started freaking us out. So then we went up the entire hill, starting to put more sun cream on, and then that's when we saw that the cows were on the path that we just were, like that midway path that I was talking about in the hill. That's what they were, and we were just up there, and then they were staring at us, like giving us a deep, deep stare. And then they started walking up like the hill, and then stepped back, and it was very freaky. I didn't know what to do. It was very, very scary because I thought they was going to charge at us. Once again, livestock just hate me because they're charging at me every single time, and I'm like, it's gonna happen again. And like, I was like picturing a full on like apocalypse. I was like, if they're gonna charge at us, and if we're gonna like start dropping like flies, like I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it because I remember all the potholes, and I feel like I'm just gonna slip and fall like when they're doing the movies, and then someone else has to help you up. But I'm like, in this case scenario, no one's gonna help me up. They're just gonna all bolt and hope that they can make it as well, and then I'll just probably get stampeded with the cows. Very scary. And I was like, and to make it to that metal gate. If I make it to that metal gate, I will survive if they start charging at us. And I was like, can I outrun a cow? Because it looks fast. Looking at that cow, it looks like it could run. But then eventually, once they got up the hill even more, they decided to just walk around to go to the rest of the crowd. Because obviously they go together in a big pack. They're not like, there's not a cow left behind kind of thing. They all just stick together. And those poor cows. If you've ever looked at cows, when there's so many flies, they're just all around their eyes, and I don't like that. I want to go up to the cow and just like brush them away. But like when you brush them away, they're just gonna come straight back. But then we went down to where the cows just were. Probably not great for us. And then we walked all along that way. So many flies, by the way, because it was there, so they were just all flying in his face, and it was a lot. I thought they were bees because there was that like buzzing noise. Didn't like it. Like a blue bottle. I hate them. I do not like it. And then we got to see the castle from a different angle. That's what we did. Was it satisfying? Not really. And then we went up, and then we were fine. And then we were also panicking that the cows will now be where the metal gate was, so then we will have to walk through them to get to the metal gate. But luckily we didn't. Got there, had some like ice cream and ice lollies. It was perfect. And then we went to a bridge, and I was able to see a castle from anyway. And I was like, that's a better view of the castle from what we were just doing. And we did all that and almost died to then just walk on like where a bridge is to look at the castle from a different way anyway. So yeah, the memories are not doing well for me. They're really not. Like anything to do with animals, apparently I'm just not good with them. I'm not good with them at all. Something about me that they just don't like, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, but like I do. They do not like me. The next thing, no, the next thing I actually told you about, I just scrolled and saw them. It's the waterfall, the thing that we already did. With the thing that I showed you, the waterfall thingy. I don't make any sense right now, do I? The waterfall, the first one that we saw. That's now that we found that. So now we've caught you up on that. Now we found that, and then we found the second waterfall as well. It was really nice. The next day would be the day that we're going back, and then we decided that we wanted to go to Chester. It's in England, Chester, England. We decided to go there, just so that we can spend a day there before going back. And we did that. Went back, and we just explored the town really. And then we went to like this. We walked up a castle wall where the castle used to be. The castle's not really there anymore. There's a cathedral. Don't know if that's part that used to be part of the castle, or if it always just was a cathedral. And then we walked. There was up these stairs where someone had a famous person, can't remember who, but well-known person. We got to see their like house, their room. Don't know what year they were born in, but like well back, and castles were like a thing. Castles aren't a thing anymore. Um, and we got to walk up their stairs and then go to their door as well, and that was nice. But there was a long castle wall that we got to do, and that was actually quite nice. It was quite nice to walk along the castle wall, especially this is just an extra day that we've got that we decided to spend it on. And just did a lot of town shopping because during the holiday, I guess we didn't do that much town shopping. Went to the cathedral. This is actually a sad moment. And I saw that there was a mood ring. Don't know if you know what mood rings are, but when you put them in, they don't, I guess it just works on temperature. It doesn't really work on actually your mood. It just kind of guesses the temperature. That it doesn't guess the temperature. It knows your temperature. And then from that, it determines that mood with that temperature. I guess if your temperature is more on the high end, you might be more like stressed, nervous, or maybe you've did like you're active at that moment, I guess. And the more cold ones are more like calm and relaxed and like excited. Well, I guess that's more mid range as well with temperatures. If it's more just and that I don't know what the temperature is actually where it determines, but I really wanted one and it was only £1. You put it in the machine, you twist it, and then you get it. It's like one of those little things, like kind of like how gumballs work. And I was like, yes, I'm getting this mood ring. Didn't fit around my finger. They're for kids, and I didn't realize it was meant for kids, but I guess that makes more sense. And it could fit around my pinky. It can fit around my pinky, but not around the finger that I wanted. I was really disappointed. So I guess I can't use my mood ring anymore. And I still put it around my pinky though, and I was like, wow, I'm excited right now. Oh, that's so exciting. Don't make any sense. But yeah, mood ring was a bust. I guess it was only £1, but like that was mine. And I was really excited for a mood ring. Now I kinda want to buy a proper mood ring. I guess that one was only £1 mood ring. Maybe there's better mood rings out there that actually make it work more. Couldn't tell you. But yeah, that was in the cathedral, and it was a nice cathedral place. We got to light candles. You know how like for prayer, to light candles. Did that, and that's the first time I ever did that. That was quite. But yeah, that was pretty much the holiday. Although I do want to speak about the trains because the trains is a whole debacle, and I now despise trains. I've always liked trains. Buses though, buses are a nightmare, and I do not like buses. Mainly because the bus drivers are usually scary and they're really not nice. At least in my experience. The ones that was on holiday though, those bus drivers, they were amazing and they were so nice and so kind. And if all of those drivers were just like those ones that were in Wales, I would like that. I would like that a lot. But they're not. A lot of bus drivers are just evil. They don't care unless you are an elder, and then they're nice to you. But if you're like, I guess, a young adult like me, they don't like you. They don't like you, and they just sigh at you, and they're very rude. And I don't like it. I just want them to be respectful because I'm trying to be so nice, and they're just like not having it, and it freaks me out, and I don't like it. But yes, so going on the train there, we got a thing called split save. Split save works in different ways. It's a way to save money as well. But this split save did us dirty because for one, train that we was getting on, me and Luke didn't have the same seats. We weren't given the same seats, and every time if you purchase them together, you always get the same seats, and we weren't given that. And we're completely different seats, and I was like, this doesn't make sense. What's happening? Why are we not being given the same, like, the next to each other seats? Because it's always happened, and it was freaking us out. And when we got there, we decided to sit in seats that just said available, or ones that no one actually got on. That was from a previous stop to a different stop, and I was like, well, we'll just have to sit on these ones because I don't want. And what the worst thing about this is as well, some seats that you like, it was when we were actually coming home. We found our seats. They were really nice seats, by the way. They had tables. Some seats have tables in these trains, and some seats don't. You just are not given a table. It just depends. You can request a table one, I think. Um, but these were our seats. We went over there, and someone's already there sitting on them, and they looked at us. They looked at us like they know that that was our seat, and we just looked at them and was like, "What do we do? I don't want to ask them that's our seat." And we were freaking out, and we were standing right next to them, and they didn't decide to move. And I was just like, they sat on our seat, and that was like good seats as well because there were tables. We didn't request a table one, but we got given one, and I was like, I'll take that. But we couldn't because they were sitting on it, so we just sat on different seats that said available, and we just sat on those ones. Um, and that was okay because we got through it. But then, oh no, this was the worst part. Actually, no, I hated this. I was felt really ill on the way coming back, like really, really ill. I do get travel sickness, like severe travel sickness, and I was really ill on the way coming back. And this little kid kicking the back of my seat. I don't know how it was working, by the way, because we were back to back. So the reason they're kicking their seat or hitting my chair, they would have to be going like that and hitting like the back of the chair because I don't know how they were doing it, but they were, and they constantly just kept doing it and doing it and doing it. I told Luke, like, I really can't deal with this. I really just want to run around and like tell their mother just to well, like, it was so frustrating. It was really getting on my nerves that my I can't even explain it how bad it was to constantly have your seat like getting hit and yeah, I'm thinking about it now and it was so frustrating. And Luke decided to hit their turn, and then they stopped it straight away. And I was like so thankful that he would do that. But yeah, also my nose is getting very runny. I do apologize. Sorry, I've just got the allergies now. Maybe it was the person cutting the grass. It's finally just got to me. But yes, no, that thing with the train couldn't do, and I hate that like with a passion. But um, on the way there, I did say I kind of went onto a tangent there. I felt like I needed to tell that before. I just completely forgot. But when we got there on the train, to go there, not to come back now, to go there, um, we got to a place. It was called Berwick, and it stopped there, and we had to get off to get a different train. This usually doesn't happen. It's usually just one ways, so we're like fine. But what annoyed us the most is that on this train that we were originally on, we had like a lot of empty seats, so it's quite empty. And guess what? It was going to the place that we needed to be. It was going to the station that we needed to be, and it told us to get off to get a train that was like an hour after our train that would take us, that was on the exact same route as the previous train, but we had to get off to get back on. And it frustrated me so much. But since we got to Berwick and we had an hour to spare, we walked down this lovely pathway, and down there we saw like this other like aqueduct that we was below. I don't think it's an aqueduct actually. No, it probably wasn't an aqueduct. It was probably just a bridge. But we went under there and we saw a sign that said seals will be here. Plenty of seals that you will see for the water. We didn't see one because we didn't actually walk down much. But I was just glad that we got to go there because it was upsetting me that we had to get off just to get the exact same train because we could have been there an hour earlier. And it's really annoying how we just weren't allowed to stay on the same train. Got told that we had to get off, then just wait to get back on a later train. Like, it makes no sense because we might as well have just waited for that train because it was coming from the exact same place that we went and going to the exact same place. Why would we have to get off to then wait to get on that train? Why didn't we just get on that second train then instead of the first one? I would have preferred the first one. But like, it doesn't make sense. It really, really annoyed me. But anyway, did that, finally got on, and for that train, we were even worse seats because we had completely different seats that was at the different side of the train to all the way at the different side of the train. I was like, this doesn't make sense. Why are we getting given these seats? Because they were purchased together, which means you always would get the same seats together. And I was so frustrated by this, and I was like, what is happening? Why is this journey not just easy? Got them same seats anyway, because we found ones that were available or that no one was using but was meant to be using at that point. That and then we finally got there and it was finally over. And I was just so happy when it was finally done that. And going there, I didn't feel much travel sickness, but it was the way back. That's when I started to get really travel sick and it wasn't really good at all. But from that, really bad. But I'm glad I got through that. And they're back. I'm home. And I'm really happy to be home right now. Was really sick last night because of the day after. But doing well now. Drinking water though. I got a headache, got back. And I was like, as soon as I left, by the way, because I know I did, I think I spoke about having a headache and that I needed a break. As soon as I left, I didn't have a headache. Like, it was completely gone, like straight away, because I wasn't really looking at screens. And as soon as I got back, without looking at a screen, it was just when I got back, that's when I got the headache again. Went away though, good, and I've not had a headache during this, which I'm really happy about. Drinking my water and to make sure not to be staying on screens as long. But can't really stop that, can I? Because now I'm back. It's gonna happen. It's just gonna happen. But I'm gonna make sure to get a headache to take medicine. Make sure you are always staying hydrated. That's a definite headaches are the worst, especially when you constantly have one. Because I did have a constant headache, but over a week, probably not good. It probably was something more severe than just probably a headache if it was constant. Sometimes it was worse than others, like the worst parts different times, but there was still one constantly there. But it's gone. Good. So I don't need to worry about it now because it's gone. It's like fine. But yes, I'm gonna check what other stuff that I've rolled. I'm up now, I think. I'm done relaxing. I'll move my little that again. I think that's where I had it. Maybe around about there. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll see. Right, so holiday, look for the posts, try to remember memories. Remember memories. Good at that. Then I said the train story there and back. I think I spoke about coming back ish. I think I did. The back was a lot better. Getting trained. No, wait. No, I didn't say about this. When we purchased the ticket, so we wanted to originally come back on Saturday. That was the original plan. But we wouldn't have mind coming back on the Sunday. We did come back on the Sunday, by the way. But we thought we wouldn't, and we'll come back on Monday, which would be day. So we probably wouldn't even be back right now. Be coming up to 4 p.m. So we probably wouldn't even be back yet. So we went and looked at Saturdays, and they were all over £200. £200 is a lot, and we're never going to spend that much on a train ticket. And well, it depends where it is. If it's like cross country, like, or just this journey, thank you, because you can get cheaper ones around £60 is what we were hoping for. And all of them were saying 200 on Saturday, and there was no way that we could have got one. So I was like, fine, we'll do Sunday. We found one that was for around £60. We got it, and then there was an error, and then it went up to like £70. And then I was like, wait. And then we bought it, and then there was an error, and then it went up to £80. And I was like, what is happening? It's the exact same ticket, by the way. We didn't buy it, by the way, don't worry. Her money just didn't keep going away. It just kept saying error, and then it kept going up in price, and then it went into the hundreds, and I was like, no, we're stopping there. We can't just keep doing this, because it probably will just accept it and then take like 40 extra pounds that we could have got for 60, but now we're paying over 100. I'm like, we're not doing that. And then we went to different apps as well on our phones. We finally found the same train ticket again, but for around the £60, and it finally worked. And we were doing this for like over an hour as well. It was very stressful, and it was just so glad to finally get that part done and to like see that it was actually purchased for a good price as well. I was like, I think it was actually cheaper than the other one as well, like a couple pounds cheaper. I was like, thank goodness that's done. Don't need to worry about that. And then we'll be back on the Saturday. And I was really, really happy that we would at least. And I wanted to be back before Monday as well, because I wanted to do my podcast, and I didn't want to do it on the day because obviously I wouldn't have back yet. And as soon as I got back, I think we got back around 5 yesterday, and it's only 4 right now, and I would want to do my podcast and upload it for 5:30, so I would only have half an hour to do an hour podcast. Wouldn't work out, so I didn't, and we got back on Saturday, thankfully, and now I would be able to do my podcast now. But if I got back on Monday, I wouldn't have been able to do my podcast, and that would have been very freaky. But I'm glad that I've managed to do it, and I'm doing it now. I can have it up on time as well. It's only 4 p.m. and podcasts aren't edited, you know? That's the good part about podcasts. I don't need to edit them. All I need to do is really talk about an hour, talk about like what's been going on, catch yous all up, and I really enjoy them. And all I need to upload it. I guess the thumbnail as well I need to do, but I enjoy doing thumbnails. They're creative. I like art, so you know. But yes, that was my train story. Very hectic. Trains are no longer my friends. They never used to. Yeah, when we got back, I was like, we need to check on our plants because I've been watering those plants every single day. When we got back, our plants were dwindling, and they were ashy, and they were really bad. And I talked to my mum about it, and was like, "It's if you've been watering the plants because they don't look that good right now." And then she's told me they have, but it's just been very sunny. And I do kind of believe that she has been watering the plants every week, and not every week, every day. I think maybe she's skipped out a couple days, I don't know how they've been that bad. And once we watered them, when we got back, we decided to water them straight away. They were already looking more lively. And I was like, no, like the plants are looking better already now that we've just watered them just there. So like, it has been really sunny, but like I just don't believe watering them really. But I guess I would never, I'll never know that. I'll never know if they have been watering the plants, but the plants are looking a bit better now, especially the potato plant dying. Um, Speaking about a potato plant, I do have a potato plant still on campus that I need to go and collect. I said I'll do that today, but I don't think I've got enough time to do it today, so I'll probably have to do that tomorrow now. Because then that should be me done with college as well. So I'll need to make sure to go and pick up my stuff, and hopefully they'll let me in as well. By the way, 'cause struggle. And what's really scary is just before I started this podcast, I got an email saying that I will be given a letter of my grades, hopefully sometime this week. And that does very stress me out a lot. I wasn't ready for my grades. I didn't even know they were finished marking them. Never mind there were grades being delivered. And I didn't know it was going to be by paper form. I thought they were just going to send an email with my grade on it, and then I'll click it, and then it'll tell me. No, we're going to have to do it a letter. And I'm very, very stressed about this. And I don't want to look at them. I don't know why. It's just bringing me back to high school as well, when you have to open up your like exams and see what you've got. It's reminding me of that, and my heart's pounding just about it now. And I'm not looking forward to it. I'm very stressed. But I probably won't say what I got. Maybe I will, but I probably wouldn't. Um, in case I guess other uni mates are watching these. I don't, well, like in case like I get like a different mark from what they get, I don't want them to either be like upset about their own mark, or that we've just got different marks, or if like maybe I'll be upset if I get a bad mark compared to them, which probably would be more the case. So I probably wouldn't, like, I guess comparing with our grades, because that's what you shouldn't do. I remember back that in my HNC and my HND, anytime we would get a grade back, the entire group chat will be like saying what they got. I will be like, why do you want to know what everyone got? I don't want to say my grade, because I don't think we should be kept comparing grades, because grades are grades. They don't define you, and I don't think that comparing your grades with people, because everyone's different and everyone's got their strong suits, and maybe the yeah, that's probably one. But yeah, I think that's everything that I have covered. I'm scared for my grades, but I should be good. As long as I've passed everything, by the way, I would be going on to next year. That's, I guess, just my goal. As long as I could do that, I'm fine. But they haven't emailed me saying that I haven't, but I guess why would they? But like, I don't think someone would like go on the entire struggle of like knowing I failed and not telling already, if that makes sense. So I think I should hopefully be good. If I'm in next year, that means I've at least passed everything. Um, but yeah, thank you everybody for watching this podcast. I hope you did enjoy it. If you've got any comments, make sure to leave down comments about this podcast. And next week we should have someone. Well, we will definitely have someone for next week. So it's just because this podcast, I didn't have much time to prepare for it, and being on holiday, so I knew that I wanted to talk about a lot of stuff. On me, please. Hello. That's a lot better. Why can't you just do that for the entire time? Why do you always have to become fuzzy? Is it my mic on? Maybe if I just talk up like this. It looks very weird to talk about, but like, we're gonna be. Yeah. Oh wait, no, my mic was probably very low down there. I need to make sure that it's up here and not like down here, because this doesn't sound good. This sounds a lot better, I think. I don't know. I can't listen to myself right now. But yes, I'm rambling on. I hope you did enjoy. And make sure to leave a like if you have not already. And if it's your first time seeing one of these podcasts, you've watched to the end, you're listening to this part, make sure to subscribe, as I do a podcast every Monday. But I'll see you all in the next podcast. But bye, everybody. Bye.